While many view the Bible as a single, uniform volume, it is more accurately described as a grand literary diptych, two distinct yet deeply interconnected halves that represent a radical evolution in the human understanding of God. The Old Testament, the Hebrew Tanakh, and the New Testament function as a promise and fulfillment structure. To compare them is to witness a transition from the foundational laws of a specific nation to a universal message of grace intended for all humanity. Law versus grace, the moral foundation. The Old Testament is defined by the covenant of law. Established at Mount Sinai, it provided the Israelites with a rigorous ethical and ritual framework, the 613 Mitzvot, commandments. The focus was on holiness through obedience, establishing that God is a just judge who demands a specific standard of conduct. In contrast, the New Testament introduces the covenant of grace. It argues that while the law is perfect, human nature is flawed and unable to keep it. Therefore, the focus shifts from human effort to divine gift. The moral weight moves from external rituals, like dietary laws or animal sacrifices, to the circumcision of the heart, an internal transformation driven by faith rather than mere rule following. National identity versus global invitation. The Old Testament is primarily the story of a single people, the descendants of Abraham. Its geography is rooted in the promised land of Canaan, and its narrative focuses on the survival, kingdom building, and exile of the nation of Israel. It is a particularist text, preserving the identity of a chosen people to act as a light to other nations. The New Testament, however, is explosively universalist. Following the Great Commission, the message breaks out of Judea and travels across the Roman Empire. The concept of the people of God shifts from a biological lineage to a spiritual community, the church, that includes Jew and Gentile, slave and free. The physical borders of Israel are replaced by a global spiritual kingdom. Sacrifice versus substitution. A central theme in the Old Testament is the sacrificial system. To bridge the gap between a holy God and a sinful people, the blood of animals was offered as a temporary covering for sin. It was a repetitive, ongoing process centered in the Tabernacle and later the Temple. The New Testament presents the death of Jesus as the final sacrifice. It claims that the previous system was a shadow or a tutor designed to point toward a permanent solution. By acting as the Lamb of God, Jesus is described as fulfilling the requirements of the law once and for all, rendering the old sacrificial system obsolete.